So, since it's isolation time, quarantine time, I thought that I would give myself a new hobby. A new thing to put away after a month, I guess. Yeah, welcome. These are the books that I've been reading during quarantine. The first book I read in quarantine, it's Secret History by Donna Tartt. I have some thoughts around this book. I really enjoyed the first 300 pages, I think. It was really atmospheric. I was really feeling the dark academia, all the old college campus, brick walls, old libraries. I was really feeling, whiskey at night. And I was so into the mystery and so into because the thing about the Secret History is that it's very intellectual. So you know what's gonna happen because she tells you very early on what's gonna happen. So you're just you're waiting to see how it happens and why it happens. And it asks questions around mortality and ethics and stuff like that. It's just... This book, it didn't directly disappoint me, but it kind of lost me for a good 250 pages at the end, because it happens, and then it's sort of all of these other things that happens in correlation because of the thing that happens in the first place. And it's just it goes on and on and on. You're like, okay, but is it gonna end or is it not gonna end? And it doesn't end. It's very good though. I quite liked it a lot. I liked it. Alright, next book. Oh my god, what is it in English? The Little House in the Big Woods? This is one of my childhood favorites. I read it constantly as a young girl. And the beginning of this quarantine, after Secret History, it took some time to finish. I was just I had to have some kind of dopamine fix because of everything that was happening. Everything was just sort of rumpled and wrinkled and, not very good. So I read it in an evening, and it was so nice, and I liked it so much because I've been wanting to reread so many of the books that I loved as a child. Not even to see if they're as good, because they're not. If they're written for children, they're not really supposed to be good when you're an adult, because you're not a child anymore. But oh my god, I love this. I love this book so much. And it's my mom's old book as well. She got it when she was 8. So it has her old scribbles and notes in it from when she was a child, and it's, oh my god, it was so nice. It's just so simple, and I want to live in the woods somewhere, knowing, how to make maple syrup. There we go. Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. It's a classic. It's written in the 1860s. This is actually the copy of both of the novels in this series, so both Little Women and Good Wives. Yes, Good Wives. So it's a 700-page book, and I started reading this before Christmas, and then I brought it home for Christmas break, and I didn't finish it, so I was halfway through when I came home, and I just decided to sort of finish it. And it's so nice as well. It's in the Puffin and Bloom, actually, by Penguin. And it's, it's just, even though it's super big, it's a proper brick. It's, I don't know, I like it. I liked it a lot. It was hard at times to get through, just because I'm not accustomed to, the classic writing in English. English is my foreign language. It's not even my second one. But the story is very beautiful and very I don't know, not directly poetic, but simple enough that you understand all the morals, because it is a children's book, essentially, even though you wouldn't classify it as a children's book if it was written now. but since it's not written now, I think it's a children's book because of all like the morals and stuff in it, because it's sort of a lesson to learn, and instead of sort of letting the lesson hang there, Louisa May Alcott sort of wrote them into the manuscript of her book. So when a character experiences something, she goes, and then she learned that something, 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 something. And I think that's why it classified. I don't know though, but you know, it made sense to me. The next book is a book that I haven't even finished yet. I started it in March and I still haven't finished. I'm about halfway through. And it's World War Z, because I decided that I was going to read about zombies and the apocalypse and a pandemic, essentially. This is written very interestingly. So it's written in like interviews, but interviews that has this like storytelling feel to them. So, you know, there will be expressions and descriptions and, you know, dialogue and stuff in the interviews, people remembering stuff that happened, because it's post-apocalyptic, so it's after the apocalypse happened and sort of when society stabilized again, and then people of significance or people who has like a special memory or something are being interviewed. I thought it was very engaging, the first 100 pages, and then it just stopped. Like, I'm sorry, I'm probably gonna DNF this. It is not very good. It's super fucking American. It is like, it's so annoying. I don't understand why Americans do this. Hello, it's Future Ren, speaking to you from a wisdom. So as I'm editing this, I'm figuring out that I'm not expressing my thoughts well here at all. So I've actually written down what I actually meant to say, and that was, the book is saying that America was the first country to rebuild, and even America, with its economy and its system, used some time, but it was the first one. My next point, then, is this. So, with the current political situation in the United States, with the focus on profit and class and corruption, America would be the last country, and I, of course, am over-exaggerating, but it would not be the first to rebuild itself, mainly because of the socialist measures that need to be taken into account. The socialist measures needed to rebuild a nation. You know, like focus on poverty, focus on equal pay and labor, and yeah. Like, I would hope that America would take something other than, yay, we're the greatest country in the world, from an apocalypse like that. But also it would be very America to just go, we're the greatest country in the world, and not think about anything. Like, why did so many people in America die then, huh? Is that not something we're gonna think of? It's a little bit relevant, is it? It's awfully relevant. Well, that was it. Back to the main show. Alright, the next book is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Well, this is a book about police brutality, essentially. It's a YA book. It was very, very, very good. It was very good. Very heartbreaking. And very confronting in ways that I wouldn't expect, because it is YA and I haven't read YA in so long. And I did sort of pick up, like, you know when you've just grown out of a genre and then you read a book from that genre again, and you're like, oh, that's why I don't really read that genre anymore. It had like some of those, but, you know, the trauma and like the emotions in this book just completely overshadowed everything else, and it didn't matter, really. I don't know, I liked it so much. I remember all of these things happening and nobody around me gave a shit about any of it. Just because it didn't touch them, it didn't touch their lives. Like, it was mentioned once on the news, I think. But I realized the more I learn about something, obviously the less I know. And I can't have these experiences. Like, I cannot have these experiences. That's why it's so very, very, very important that books like this get made. I think this is a brilliant entryway into the subject of police brutality. Often, it's not like people don't care out of cruelty. People don't care because they have no idea. It's ignorance, basically. And sometimes something seems way too big to even start to unpack. Like, and I've noticed that, and when you get empathy for someone or for someone's situation, because it touches your life specifically, you tend to care a lot more, and you tend to educate yourself a lot more. And I think getting a feel for the characters in this book really do help with empathy. The next book is The Alchemist by Pablo Coelho. This, I'm not quite sure what I think. So I have been recommended this book so many times. This was very preachy, but without religion. Do you know what I mean? And it's supposed to be like that. Like, it's a spiritual book. It's about a spiritual journey of a boy. It's supposed to be, preachy. Like, it didn't throw me off or anything. It's a thing. I liked it. It was a fun story. Next book is Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. It's, the second book in Alice in Wonderland that I didn't even know existed. And I read it, and I really liked it. I do. Like, it didn't... Of course, you can't even sort of compare it to the first one. The first one is, sublime. But, it's a fun tale, and it has its premises, it has its ups and downs, and it has its beautiful moments. It's very, chess game-y? That's a word? It's very, rules and stuff, but I felt like the first book was so whimsical and so adventurous. I'm just gonna see where my childish imagination takes me. And the second one was a lot more rigid, in a way. Like, it had some set rules that he followed the whole time, and he had and then we did do this, and then there's a set path until we get to the end, and that's sort of how it happened. I did feel like a child at some points, reading Alice in Wonderland for the first time. Just going, ee! So it's it's definitely, I'm very happy I have this edition. I'm very glad that I did read it. The next book I read was Lies, the third book in the Gone series by Michael Grant. I have been rereading these books since Christmas. I love this series so much. Oh, I read the series when I was 11 or 12, and I remember I was being a little bit rebellious because, I think there is a age range of 12 or 13 and up, and I felt like I was breaking the rules reading these books. It's like watching a movie that you're not allowed to watch when you're 10. But there is so much I'm discovering by rereading this book. Oh my god, the characters are so more nuanced than what I even realized as a child. The storylines are so grotesque and horrible, but so incredible. I was, the last 200 pages, I was shaking. I was physically shaking in my chair because the anticipation and the anxiety from everything that was happening was so well. It's so well made. Oh my god, this is an incredible book series. It's okay. So it's one of my favorite premises of all time. So it's rebuilding society from, nothing. I like it so much. I like it so much. next one is a very small one. And it's Cersei and the Cyclops by Homer. It's a little bit of a taste test, if you will, by of the Odyssey by Homer. I really wanted to see what the writing style was like. I don't know. I liked it. It was a lot of fun. How do I pronounce it? Odysseus. Well, in Norwegian. Odysseus? I'm gonna go to bed. He's annoying. Okay, the next one is Romeo and Juliet. It was a dramatized version of the play, read by different actors and stuff. I really liked the voice of Juliet. She was very soft, but had like power in her voice. But there was something weird about Romeo and his, well, like the actor playing Romeo. Like, he was super breathy, so like everything he said, he would say like this, and it would be like very sexy and smoldering and very, very like he was moaning the whole way through, and it made it I was so uncomfortable. Especially, oh my god, the death scene. That boy was not dying. The next one is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I have been wanting to read this for so long. I have been feeling a little bit not so very good lately because of, stuff. And I haven't read John Green in so long, and this came out in 2017. And I read it, and oh my god, it was so good. He has really grown as an author. He is really, and as a person as well. What I liked most about this book, it's that technically it's classified as a romantic YA novel, but it's really not. Like, the romance in this book is not at the forefront of the story at all. The forefront is about the main character. Her name is Asa, and she's struggling with anxiety and OCD. And, like, it's more about how she handles her reality and her life, and also so much about her friendship with her best friend. Like, that was much more in focus and hashed out than the romance, which I so appreciate. And I also really like his female characters when he writes from female points of views, because a lot of the times when people, especially male authors, write from female point of view, they will often sort of make it very clear that this character is a woman or a girl by, like, throwing in small commentaries here and there, going like, as all girls would, or she was not like the other, or, like perky breasts, And John Green is very good when it comes to that. Like, Asa felt like a person. You don't walk around think that you're a girl, aware of the fact that you are a girl at all times in your life. Like, you just live your life as a person, and it's when people point it out to you that you're a girl, or something makes you aware of the fact that you're a girl because it is pointed out to you, that's when you are like, oh, I'm a girl. It was, oh my god, it was so nice, and it was so good, and it released a lot of serotonin. Like, this just felt like eating a very good meal, Like, it didn't feel difficult. It didn't feel like I had to take breaks. It didn't feel like I had to, like, put it down. It didn't feel like I now need, to fill my brain with something else. I liked it a lot. Well, the last book is The Machine Stops by Ian Forster. So this is 2 of his short stories. One of them is The Machine Stops, and the other one is The Celestial Omnibus. It was also very nice. That's the only thing I can say about these books. Sometimes books are just nice. Sometimes they're just nice, and that's okay. They don't need to be life-changing. They don't need to be incredible. They don't need to be, oh my god, mind-boggling. I'm shifting my whole life. Sometimes it's just nice to sit out in the sun, enjoying 2 good short stories. I liked The Machine Stops especially because it's very apocalyptic. It's made me think, like books do sometimes. In this book, it's made me want to read more of Ian Foster. That's why Forster, not Foster. Forster. My god, that's it. That's the books. It's okay if you don't do anything. And I know that's a lot. Like, it doesn't really help if any stranger on the internet says, you know, it's okay. If you don't read, it's okay if you don't feel like doing anything except for taking naps. I feel like this is the only thing keeping me sane, you know? Like, this is the only thing that's keeping me together. Alright. Be safe, I guess. Bye.